furious, and sent his troops to quell the rebellion. He did this in a brutal fashion, an event which is now referred to as the Harrying of the North, where he burnt everything between York and the Newcastle area. Buildings, animals and crops were all destroyed, but he didn't stop there. It is believed he got his troops to salt the soil so nothing could grow. Many thousands died due to his actions. The rebellion was over. On the left you can see the last remaining section of the castle wall. Look left as we pass the circular drum tower, and you can see where the drawbridge would have been at the base of the wall. Ahead we can see a square tower marking the end of this section of the city wall. This is Bishopgate Postern Tower, which stands where the wall met the River Foss, which would have been much wider than it is today. There were 6 postern towers on the walls of York. Postern means rear entrance, and this is the only such tower still remaining. Over the hedge to our left is the graveyard of St George's Church, which has just one upstanding headstone in it. Those on the bottom deck may see this headstone through the gates on the left as we turn. This is the grave of Dick Turpin, the notorious Georgian highwayman who robbed stagecoaches in the 18th century. On the left is St George's Roman Catholic Church, which was built in 1850 for the Irish settlers who arrived in this area during the Irish potato famine. The church replaced an earlier one and was temporarily the Catholic Cathedral of York. It was designed by the architect Joseph Hanson, who also designed the Hanson Cab, a horse-drawn vehicle which was very popular in Victorian times. An example of a Hanson Cab can be seen in the Castle Museum. We move into Warmgate. This street was originally called Warmgate, possibly named after a female Viking warrior named Warga. It is one of York's oldest streets, following the line of the ancient Roman road to the east. Straight ahead of us is Warmgate Bar, the most complete gateway on a city wall, not only here in York, but also in the United Kingdom. This is because it still retains its barbican, which is the tunnel-like structure on the outside of the gateway. We will see the barbican when we turn right. You will not see another original barbican attached to a city wall unless you go to Krakow in Poland. All the others have now gone. On the side of Warmgate Bar, we can see an Elizabethan gatekeeper's house, which stands on 2 stone pillars, one either side of the central archway. We don't know where the pillars are from, but we do know they are of Roman origin. The gateway would have had only one central arch, the others on the left and right are modern. The gate still has its original 15th century oak doors. The barbican is an extra defensive structure on the outside of the gate. It is a double gateway formed by 2 walls, which stretch out into the road ahead for about 18 meters or 60 feet. The purpose of the barbican was to slow down or trap any attackers in the tunnel between the inner oak doors and the outer doors, which were made of iron. The defending soldiers on the walls above could then attack those trapped below, firing arrows, throwing down rocks and boiling liquids. As we turn right, look to the right, and you will have a brief view inside the barbican. Imagine being trapped in there, with the soldiers throwing all kinds of nasty things down from above. In 1828, the city's cattle market was relocated to this area. Cattle and sheep were brought here from all over the country to be traded. The flat grassed areas at the foot of the walls were where livestock were kept in pens awaiting their sale. In 1971, the market was moved again, this time to Mountain, a village just outside of York, and was renamed the York Livestock Centre. This is where the UK Snooker Championship has been held many times, and it is also a music and entertainment venue. Fishergate is the road to Fulford, a village just south of York. This was the site of the Battle of Fulford on the 20th of September 1066, where the Vikings beat the Saxons. The Saxon army then returned the favour at the Battle of Stamford Bridge, just 5 days later. Just 3 weeks later, however, there was a third, more famous battle, the Battle of Hastings, where the Saxons led by Harold Godwinson were defeated by the Normans led by William the Conqueror. Looking ahead, we can see the top of York Minster. It is the tallest structure in York. What we want you to see is the Minster, not a tower block. The present Minster has had 3 fires, 1753, 1829 and 1984. It was because of the fire in 1829 that the Minster Police were formed, one of the oldest police forces in England. Ahead we can see the Travel Lodge, which is a modern building, but you can see how the architect has tried to get the building to fit in with old York. He's put a turret shape on it and covered the walls in magnesium limestone, the same stone the Minster and the city walls are made of. The idea is that eventually it will blend in with its older surroundings. On the left is St George's Field, a piece of land which stands between the 2 rivers. This used to be the site of the ducking stool, where you could be ducked for such misdemeanours as being a witch, brewing bad beer, or being a nagging wife. We move on to Scalding Bridge and cross the River Ouse, York's main river. Look to your right to see Ouse Bridge, the oldest of the bridges built in 1821, replacing various older bridges dating back to Viking times. Look to your right, and you will see the city walls at Bale Hill, a grass mound with trees growing on it. Bale Hill was the site of William the Conqueror's second castle, dating to around 1068. Nothing remains of it, however, because it was only ever made of wood, and nobody wanted to pay for its upkeep. Eventually, it was found to be in such a sad state of repair, it was pulled down. Notice the buildings around become much more modern outside the walls, but don't be fooled. There used to be older buildings outside the city walls, but in 1644, York was under siege for 3 months during the Civil War. Around 30,000 parliamentarian troops surrounded the city. However, it is said it was the Royalists defending the city who pulled down the buildings outside the walls to get a better view of those attacking them. Rejoin the city walls. On the right, just past the trees, is another gateway called Victoria Bar. This is a modern gateway, only opened in 1838, to ease the flow of traffic through Micklegate Bar, which had started to get congested. We will pass Micklegate Bar shortly. Nunnery Lane is the nearest stop for the Bar Convent and Micklegate Bar, which can be found ahead of us at the traffic lights. This is also the stop for the York Brewery. When we use this Nunnery Lane diversion route, this is also the nearest stop for the racecourse, Tadcaster Road and the Bishopthorpe Road areas. You get a nice view of the city walls here on the right. The walls of York are built in 3 sections, which total about 2 3/4 miles, or 3.4 kilometres in length. They are the most complete set of city walls in England. Visitors to York tend to think that the walls are Roman, but in fact, our present walls are medieval. They were begun in the 1220s, and they took about 100 years to complete. They stand upon earthwork embankments created by the Vikings, and this makes them unique. York did have earlier Roman walls, which used to surround their fortress near where the Minster now stands. However, both the fortress and its walls have been almost totally lost, apart from small remnants. The first permanent station was built down to our right inside the walls. The large arches were knocked through the walls to allow the trains into the station in 1841. The trains would go through the arches and then have to sweep left to the old station inside the walls. It wasn't very practical, as once you got the train in there, it then had to be turned around to get back out, and this proved to be problematic. It would have been fine if it was only 1 or 2 trains a day, but York was becoming a very busy station, which soon saw over 300 trains a day coming to York. The new station was built to alleviate this problem in 1877. Welcome to anybody joining us here at the railway station on the York City Sightseeing Tour. The tour will take approximately 1 hour, during which we will be pointing out places of interest and telling you something of the history of our beautiful city. Your ticket is valid for 24 hours from the time of purchase. Note that this does not mean we run all through the night, but you will find the last full tour times of the day in your red leaflet, or ask your driver. Your ticket allows you to get on and off at any of our designated city sightseeing bus stops along the route throughout the day. Please ring the bell in good time if you wish to alight at any of our stops.